With the Oregon saw, you pull the battery out of the charger, you put it in the receptacle, you squeeze the trigger, and you cut wood. It's just that simple.
It's simple. It seems to operate. You don't have to get involved with an engine because it doesn't have all the moving parts that a normal conventional engine's going to have.
Press the button, pull the trigger, and the Oregon chainsaw starts immediately.
The batteries were really surprising because I never would have expected batteries to last that long.
Well, there's no prep. The battery's in, you have the safety trigger, and you're immediately cutting. I didn't have to warm it up. I didn't have to find my 2-cycle oil. I didn't have to find a wrench. I mean, it was immediate use.
Welcome back to Tool Talk. We're Joe and Lou, the Toolkit guys.
And we've been putting the Oregon PowerNow 40-volt max chainsaw through its paces.
So far, we've seen that this brand new cordless saw is amazingly easy to use. It starts instantly every time, and there's never a hassle with pull cords or chokes or fuel mixing.
And we put it through a grueling endurance test, which I must admit proves that this battery has more life in it than I do. I mean, you can literally make a couple of hundred cuts per charge. So, if you want to take a break, you're going to have to come up with a better excuse than low battery power.
One of the very best things about the Oregon PowerNow saw is that you never have to take it to the shop for sharpening, ever.
Okay, hold on. I got to stop you because I keep hearing about this built-in sharpening system, and I got to express a little bit of doubt. Are you saying that this saw can sharpen itself better than a saw mechanic can sharpen it? I mean, is that what you're saying?
I'm not only saying it, I'm going to prove that a PowerSharp system built into this saw can do just that. By the way, have you ever cut concrete with a chainsaw?
You gotta be nuts.
Has that ever stopped either one of us before?
No.
All right then, let's go to the test lab. I've got the Oregon PowerNow saw. Lou has his old gas saw, and we're gonna see what kind of havoc we can wreak on these saw chains by cutting concrete.
You are nuts!
You ever want to see how dull a saw chain can get? This is it. Let's do it!
Ah, this is crazy, man.
Let's see what kind of horrendous damage we've done to these chains.
Oh.
Let's check it out.
Yikes, I can't even make a scratch in this wood.
Me neither.
I thought the motto of our show was never a dull moment.
You are correct, sir. So let's sharpen our chains. While Lou starts to file his chain, all I have to do is pull a lever to activate the built-in PowerSharp system. I run it 3 to 5 seconds, and that is it. This chain is as sharp as new. As for Lou and his saw...
Are you kidding? I'm just getting started.
And yet my Oregon PowerNow chain is ready now. How is that possible? Look, inside the saw is a precision-engineered diamond link that ensures each and every cutter is sharpened to its cutting best. It sharpens the chain on the saw, on the job, in seconds. So you'll never cut with a dull chain again. Meanwhile, it's going to take Lou a half an hour to file his.
No, I'll just take it to the saw shop with my other chains.
With the Oregon PowerNow, you can forget all that. There's no more hassles, no more costs, no more downtime when the chain gets dull. And no other chainsaw in the world can make that claim.
It's a dream come true for anybody that operates a chainsaw to not have to deal with chain sharpening.
Keep the saw running and pull the lower red trigger and it sharpens it right up.
I used the automatic chain sharpener and it went right back to full power and cut the tree just like it was a new chain.
It's time-consuming to sharpen a traditional saw, and so having something built in like the PowerSharp feature was great.
There's no cordless chainsaw I know of that combines the long battery life and always sharp performance you get with this saw. Where did all this ingenuity come from? It came from an American manufacturer named Oregon. Oregon's been a pioneer in the chainsaw industry since 1947. And today, they're the #1 producer of saw chain in the entire world. The engineers at Oregon spent 2 years combining the latest battery technology with a breakthrough chainsaw design. They beat it up, shook it up, and ran it harder and hotter than anyone in his right mind would to make sure it passed all the industry standards. The results? The Oregon PowerNow 40-volt max chainsaw, an unmatched combination of power and convenience.
That's all pretty impressive. But you know, what I want to know is, can this chainsaw, can this battery-powered chainsaw make the really big cut? I mean, I got a maple tree this big I got to take out. Can this baby handle that?
That's a good question. It just so happens our crack staff of test lab engineers rounded up a log that is the exact diameter of Louie's tree.
That's amazing. Look at that. It's so coincidental.
Look, none of us are going to be Paul Bunyan with this saw falling big timber. But the Oregon PowerNow does have a 14-inch bar, and really, how often are you going to need to cut more than that? Plus, this saw has the muscle to use every inch of that bar, which means it can handle most of the jobs you got.
All right. I really don't want to like this saw because I'm a gas saw guy. But you're making it hard on me. I mean, everything you're showing me makes me think that this Oregon saw is just as good as a gas saw. Maybe even better. But will people who depend on their gas saws really go for this?
Does a one-legged duck swim in circles?
I don't know.
Let's meet a homeowner with a lot of wooded land and a brand new chainsaw to help keep it looking great.
I love the Oregon saw, number one, because the ease of use. I can keep it sharp all the time. I don't have to worry about carrying around a can of gas in the back of my truck, potentially spilling. Last week I had an 8-inch cherry tree that I've been wanting to take down, and having the Oregon chainsaw available to me, I applied it to the trunk and was concerned that I might be biting off more than I could chew, but I was pleasantly surprised. It took that tree down with no problem at all. Well, using the Oregon chainsaw, it's not near as loud as a gas-powered saw. It doesn't emit that sound that tells the whole neighborhood I'm cutting trees. It sounds like I'm using a tool. To sharpen a gas-powered saw, if I were a great sharpener, it's still going to take 10 to 15 minutes. And if you're cutting a lot of wood in a day, you're going to have several cycles. You're going to do it quite often. This 5 to 7 second sharpening cycle with an Oregon chainsaw is amazing. It really doesn't slow down your work. It's about the time you'd need to just move to the next limb or move to the next tree or branch. It was made to be on the job site. The Oregon chainsaw is just, the newest weapon in my arsenal. It's one that works.